Hello everyone and welcome back to the Unsaid Pled. In this video we're going to be talking about this book called Circe by Madeline Miller. And before we proceed with the details of the book, there are two things that I'd like to tell you. Number one, that on the screen right now and also in the description is the link to my Instagram. So you can go and check that page, and on that page you would find some lines that I have found very touching or very beautiful in the books that I have read. You would also find some posts about things that I find very relatable as a reader, and I have also kept a record of the books that I have read on that account, so you can get a fair idea of what genre I'm into, like although it's very broad, but yeah, you can just get a fair idea of what sort of books I read. So yeah. Secondly, in the description only there's one more link, and that link will take you to a sort of an online library that I have created for the viewers. So the books that I have made videos about, so I have kind of put the PDFs of those books in this online library. So if you like the review of some book and you want to read it, you can access that book from here. You can also share this with your friends, because finding PDFs online is something very hectic. So yeah, and if there is some book you would like a PDF for, or you would like a review for, you can drop it in the comment section. So I am making this video because a lot of my friends and some of the viewers also suggested that I make a video on Greek mythology. I have chosen this book in particular simply because this was the latest one that I had read. So yeah, this book called Circe by Madeline Miller follows the story of one of the most famous witches in Greek mythology, that is Circe. So in this video I would just give like an overview, a chronological overview of what happens in the book, and I will avoid giving any spoilers. We have the Olympians and we have the Titans. So Titans were there before the Olympians. Then we have the Titan War, and in the Titan War the Olympians defeat the Titans, and now Olympians become the supreme power in the world. So Olympians are basically the 12 gods that reside on Mount Olympus. So the Titans that were defeated, out of those, some Titans entered into sort of an agreement with these gods. So the agreement was that, we will not disturb you or your rule. You just let us, rule in our own domains. So like, it's sort of a peace treaty that we'll maintain peace. You do not disturb us and we will not disturb you, right? So one such Titan was Helios. Helios is basically the sun, so Helios is a Titan, and then Helios marries Oceanos' daughter Perse. So Helios has married a lot of women. This is quite common in Greek mythology. So anyways, the offsprings that this union of Helios and Perse produce are basically skilled enough to acquire the power which is forbidden to gods, and that power is witchcraft. So this union of Helios and Perse produces 4 children in total, and the first one is Circe. So when Circe is born, she is not someone who is very much liked by her parents. She is not the favorite kid. She is somebody who has been neglected since her childhood, discarded sort of. She was not liked for her voice, for her eyes. So a lot of aspects of hers were criticized, right? So you would find some of her childhood incidents that describe all this in the book, right? So after a few years, not a few years, quite a lot of years, after that the gods find out, it becomes quite apparent that the offsprings that Helios and Perse are producing, these offsprings have witchcraft. So a meeting takes place between Helios and Zeus, and in that meeting, Zeus is basically the supreme god, right? I hope we all know about Zeus. So yeah, so basically there's this meeting between Zeus and Helios. So again there's this sort of an agreement that I will not, Zeus says that I will not do anything to your kids, or I will not wage any war over you, only if you agree to to not produce any more offsprings, number one, and number two, that if these children, the 4 kids that you have, these 4 kids mind their own business in future and do not interfere with us, right? So this is basically the agreement, and Helios, agrees to it, that okay, we'll do this. So the three that are there, other than Circe, they are given their specific kingdoms, and then they go and rule over there. As for Circe, the way her power was discovered, the way this thing was brought forward to the gods and to other titans, that incident sort of becomes the reason that Circe is punished. And the punishment is that she will be exiled to an island, right? And exile means like exiled forever. So she's exiled for her life, which means she's exiled for eternity. So she had to, so this was the thing, that she had to spend her whole life on that island. So that island, famously known as the island of Circe, is there in this book. You would find this island of Circe in many other books as well. So on this island, basically, she spends a major part of her life, and a major part of the book also is set on this island. So on this island, basically, what happens is, first of all, she refines this power of witchcraft that she has. Secondly, she also kind of understands her own self better, because when she was there in the palace of her father, she was somebody who was always looked down upon, right? So she sort of had this inferiority complex, and she had to overcome it, and she successfully does it on this island, because she is just alone over there, nobody to interfere, she's there with her thoughts, right? So she basically learns to be self-dependent, right? And she polishes her power of witchcraft. Now this island basically becomes the reason that Percy, who is herself, Circe, who is herself an immortal, she basically gets an exposure to the mortal world. Because when the sailors, they are sailing, some of them would land on this island, and they would ask her for shelter. Now she is also the only female who is residing on this island, so there were some unethical things that would also happen to her, because no matter if a female, if she is a god or a nymph or a mortal or anything, a female is a female in the perspective of this very patriarchal or a male dominated world. So she was there were attempts to exploit her, and from those attempts she learns that how cruel this world can be, and in order to retaliate, how strong she has to be. So this is basically this island, and the initial years that she spends on this island are basically years of self-discovery. She also falls in love quite a lot of times, and so basically this book ends, I'll not tell you how exactly it ends, but the concept here is that she's faced with the dilemma that whether she belongs to that immortal world of gods and titans, or whether she belongs to this mortal world. Because that immortal world, from there she has been exiled to live here, but she is an immortal, right? And as for this mortal world, they cannot accept her because they think of her as a god. So she is faced with the dilemma that where does she belong? And that is what this book is all about. Now, I might have given a very factual kind of description, but this book, of course, it would describe all these things also, of course, with a lot of detail, but it also goes on to define the emotional aspect and the feminine aspect that is there, presented very well by the author Madeline Miller. So this is basically what the book is all about. In this book you would find mention of gods, of titans, of monsters, of the Greek heroes like Odysseus. Also you will read about Daedalus. So there are a lot of things that you would get to know about. You would kind of become familiar with the Greek mythological world. So yeah, this is about the book. So I would give this book 4 stars out of 5, and I mean, I rarely give 5 out of 5 stars to any book. Anyways, this is quite nicely written, and Madeline Miller has, you know, her own unique way of writing, of retelling the myths, and she's also written other books in regarding Greek mythology. One of them is like a really famous one is the Song of Achilles. I guess I'll be making a video most probably on that book too. If there are other books that you would like me to make videos on, you can drop them in the comment section. I would like I might make further videos on them. So yeah, and if there are any suggestions or anything, the comment section is all yours. For more such videos, for more such content, you can subscribe the Unsaid Pled. You can of course check out my Instagram account too. So yeah, bye bye, thank you, and for more such content, please subscribe the Unsaid Pled, because that which remains unsaid will be spoken here. Bye bye.